everyone is talking, but not no one, but very few people are really truly listening. I would say we have a national epidemic of not feeling heard. So the reason that this matters is because when someone feels heard and understood, it increases their capacity to hear and understand others. When no one feels heard and we lack the skills to really listen to other people and understand them, then everyone is talking and nobody is listening. This is what's happening. We just talk and talk and talk, but there's no, we're just sending a message, but nobody's actually there to receive the other end of that message. So people end up feeling angry, frustrated, alone, misunderstood, because there's no one there to catch that message and help them feel heard. So years ago, I did this great exercise in a nonviolent communication workshop. And she took us through a series of steps where we had a partner, and in one part, we were walking across the room, one person forward, one person backwards. And the exercise was we both just said, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me at the same time. And so here we are moving across the room, we're getting from one place to the other, but we're both just saying, listen to me, listen. It's stressful and we're not getting any. I mean, we're moving across the room, but there's no connection in the process. So then she has us do one where one person's walking away and the other person's following them, and they're both saying, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, right? Same thing. Like, it's just this energy of somebody's leaving and somebody's like calling after them, listen to me, listen to me. And then finally, in the end, she has us walk next to each other and has one person say, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, while the other person is just quiet and listens. And then partway through, they switch and the other person says, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. And the other person listens. So this was really helpful for me because now when I'm out and about, or when I see friends or family members who are in arguments or having a hard time, especially if it's like escalating or yelling, all I hear, it doesn't really matter what they're saying, I just hear them saying, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Because that's really what we mean underneath, no matter what the words are that are coming out. Otherwise, we wouldn't be talking if we didn't want to feel heard. But the problem is we're all hungry to feel heard, and there aren't enough people there to be hearing, who are making time and space, who have the grounded nervous systems in order to be able to hear. So to me, what I mean by that is when you feel heard, it means that you have a sense that the other person understands how you feel about a given topic and also what's really important to you about it. So they get why it matters to you, and you know that they get it. Those are two important pieces. Somebody could genuinely understand what you're going through, but if you don't feel like they do, it doesn't fucking matter. Or they might not get it, and then you know that they don't get it. Or maybe you don't know that they don't get it, but we usually know when somebody doesn't get it. There's like a nervous system shift that happens when we feel heard. We feel calmer in our body and in our mind. We feel safer because we're not trying to fight to be understood and worried about what's going to happen if we're misunderstood. We feel more connected to the person that we're talking to because we have a shared understanding about something that is true inside of us, that only we truly are connected to what's going on inside of us, to our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions, unless we're able to share them and be heard by someone else. So it instantly deepens the connection, which then allows us to feel more compassion for ourselves and also to have more space for compassion for other people. Because once we feel listened to, we don't have to keep yelling, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. We can shut up and listen and take our turn. But the problem is, most people almost never feel deeply heard by almost anyone in their whole fucking lives. It makes me sad. And like, I feel so lucky and blessed. And I've worked hard and been very committed to making sure that the people that I have in my life are able to hear and understand me at the deepest levels. And it's not that I work hard, but I am very intentional and very committed to being able to hear and understand them also. Most people don't even know that what they're missing. So then if they do find one person who makes them feel even a little bit heard, or maybe a lot heard in one or multiple areas, then it's like they want to marry that person, and they think that that's the only person that can give them that sense of feeling heard. It's a little bit like you meet someone that can give you an orgasm, and you think, oh my God, they make me feel this way. I have to marry them. I don't want to let them get away. But the reality is, it's an experience that happens within you. It's a feeling within you that can be created, brought about by a variety of people if you are open to it. So it's you, and for some people, sex is far less vulnerable than opening themselves up to actually feel heard. So it is an apt metaphor, in my opinion. Simile, I guess it is really. But it's this idea that we're so hungry for feeling heard, and it feels so scarce around us that when we find it, we feel like we have to grab onto it and hold on for dear life, because that's what love is, despite however miserable we are, because we don't know that there's any other place to feel heard or that it's really possible. So it's like most people are hungry for the sense of feeling heard, but they don't even know what it is, and they haven't had it. So it's like they're walking around craving a salad all day, but they don't even know what a salad is. And so they walk around and everybody's eating Snickers bars. So they eat Snickers bars. But it never, despite Snickers satisfying, it doesn't actually satisfy that hunger. Or if you're less of a health food freak, maybe it's the other way around. You're craving the Snickers and you just keep eating the salads and they're not satisfying you for what you really want. So most people are walking around with this longing and desire to be heard. And they will bring up topics of conversation in places that may not even be appropriate or relevant, because they haven't felt heard anywhere else. And so maybe this is the time. And maybe if they just say it enough, they can hear themselves. And maybe somebody will hear them and help them feel heard. This is super key. So I want to make it crystal clear to you that spending time or investing energy to hear and understand someone does not fucking mean that you agree with them or that you support them in their actions or decisions or beliefs. I know. How many people are actually taking time to not only understand the logic of how the people they disagree with are reasoning, but also taking time to understand the feelings that the people that they disagree with are experiencing? To understand it and also to let that person know that they have understood it. Very few people are doing this. I am one of them. If you know other people, please tell me. And if you're one of them, please comment, because we need more people who are willing and able to do this. So people think that taking the time to understand someone else and make sure that they feel heard means that you agree with the person or support that person's opinion. And it doesn't. It is not the same thing to listen and to hear someone as it is to agree and support them. In fact, I think that hearing someone actually unlocks more possibilities to disagree and create change if that were your goal. So especially on topics where you disagree, I feel like I repeat myself because I like say the thing, but then I go back to my slide and I'm like, did I make sure I said everything? So in case you haven't noticed, we might be in a pattern of me saying the thing and then rereading the slide just to make sure I didn't miss anything. But helping someone feel heard is more likely to help them be open to changing their opinion than anything else. Because 98% of people's opinions are not grounded in logic or reason, it's grounded in emotions. And so if you're trying to meet emotions with logic, it will never work. But if you can meet them in their emotions and they feel heard, they will be more open to applying logic and reasoning to the situation. And in the process of helping them feel heard, it increases the likelihood that you have any fucking chance of being heard by them or understood. Once they've said, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, and you have sat there and listened, and they've gotten out what they have to say, it's natural flow that then they're going to be able to listen to what you have to say, and they're going to want it because they feel appreciative that you took the fucking time to slow down and listen to them. I don't know why it makes me almost fucking cry. Like, it's so easy for people to hear us when they feel heard. And it is so hard for people to hear us when they don't feel heard. And this shows up, it's behind my fucking nightmare of a divorce is my ex-husband not feeling heard. Behind so much pain and suffering in our lives, behind the people who are being assholes to us, is that they didn't or don't feel fucking heard. And I'm not saying it justifies their behavior, because hearing them does not mean you agree with them. But it means treating them with humanity and seeking to find and connect to those feelings inside and the things that matter to them, that are things that we at some level all want and need. We all want safety. We all want to feel heard. You just never know what the fuck's gonna make me cry in a video, do we? I did not know when I was making this slide that I would be crying. I should put like little teardrops on the ones where I know I'm gonna cry. No, I never really know. So, but I do keep a box of Kleenex here just in case. So as you may have read, the good and the bad news is that it's actually easier to find people that you can help feel heard than it is to find people who will hear you. And so if you start by helping other people feel heard and understood, in time, that is how you will find and call in the people who can also hear and understand you. Not everybody will. And you shouldn't try to do this if you don't feel grounded and you want to do this. I think I have more slides. I have a slide about this in a minute, but so if you're coming at a place of genuinely feeling curious and wanting to, I feel like maybe this slide's in the wrong order. What's the next one? No, well, I'll get there. So let's say you want to try to help someone feel heard. Maybe it's the checkout person at the grocery store. Maybe it's your kid. Maybe it's your coworker or your boss or your partner. So basically the basic process is basically they talk and you listen to what matters to them. You listen for what matters to them. This is not just reflecting and parroting back the words that they say and just repeating it back to them. It is not just like saying, well, I hear that you blah, 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 blah. It's about really trying to listen past and beyond the words And I know it sounds ridiculous in a way, but it's like listening with your heart and not your brain, or listening with the brain in your gut and your heart, and not trying to get like to intellectualize their experience, but to listen to why are they telling you this and what really matters to them, even if it seems like the most ridiculous, boring thing. They're bitching about why the grocery delivery was late this morning. Why are they telling you this? What matters to them? Chances are it's either they were stressed out, it added to their stress for the day because they didn't know, or it's because they think people should do a good job and they're upset that the person didn't do a good job. Or maybe they really like to have things be as efficient as possible. And not that I'm speaking about myself in any way, but like they see room for improvement and they want there to be more efficient systems in the world, and they don't want us wasting time on things when our time and energy could be better invested elsewhere. So it's never just the thing that it looks like. Like, listen for what matters to them about why they're telling you this. And then you make a reflective guess. I'll go into this a little bit more in a second. But you're basically guessing back. Like, are you without attitude? Like, you have to be in a place of not having attitude about this, but genuinely being like, oh, does it bother you so much because you like it when things are efficient and they save time and money? And then they're either going to say yes or no, basically. They're going to confirm it and be like, yeah, I can't stand it, blah, 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 blah. Or they're going to be like, no, I don't give a shit about efficiency. It was too stressful for me this morning, or whatever. So then you can reflect that back and ask if it's, oh yeah, so I said repeat 3 and 4. So if they correct it, then you make another reflective guess until they confirm it. And then once they confirm it, you basically ask if there's anything else that they feel like you haven't understood. Oh, so it's because it really, it stresses you out in the morning to not know when the food's going to be there so that you can get the kids to school on time. And they'll be like, yeah, because I used to hate getting to school late when I was a kid. I always felt embarrassed walking into the classroom open. So all of a sudden, in 2 fucking moves, we've gone to bitching about the grocery delivery to remembering the pain and embarrassment that they felt as an 8-year-old because they walked into the classroom late. You don't see where the fuck this shit is coming from until you take the time to slow down and actually listen. It usually makes sense. There is usually a logic behind it. The logic of an often traumatized child, but there's a logic nonetheless. So you ask if there's anything else they feel like you haven't understood, and they say, yeah, it makes me I don't want to get my kid late to school because it was embarrassing when I was young. So then you repeat steps 3 and 4. Because you would hate for your kid. What matters to them? You would hate for your kid to feel that same embarrassment that you did. And then they're going to take a big fucking sigh of relief because you finally fucking just heard them on something that everybody else thought was just about bitching about the groceries. And then they feel heard. And there's a huge sigh of relief 9 times out of 10. They're like, yeah. And then they're like, but that probably won't happen anyhow. And then they move on. And they're like, well, my kid wouldn't be that embarrassed or whatever it is. But like they have had this moment of presence and of feeling seen and heard and understood that has allowed them to finally stop saying, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, and to slow down and change their perspective, be open to looking at things from a different lens and to hearing more in other people and options. Right. So when they finally say that there's no more, or you can tell because they took a huge sigh of relief and you did it. So I would say that your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go through your day today, every fucking day, and see if you can help 1 to 3 people feel heard about one particular topic, subject, or feeling, and without them realizing that you're doing it. Depending on what circles you're in, some people have no idea, have never been heard really in their lives. They've never heard people communicate or take the time to be present with them like this. Other people have had communication skills used against them, where people act like they want to hear something, or they use the words that are supposed to make them sound like they want to hear or understand the person. But really, it's just their fancy fucking way of saying, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, and I'm going to act like I'm listening to you in the hopes that you're listening to me. But it's not the same thing. So you need to be coming from this genuine place, and it's not so much about what you're saying as it is about operating from your heart and feeling with curiosity. So, here's the slide. One of the slides I was thinking about. Yeah, it requires genuine curiosity. This is what comes whether I'm sitting in the brake shop and wondering why people are pissed off, or if I'm like, why is this person making such a big deal about the grocery delivery being late? I am curious because I have been down this path of hearing people like this so many times that I know that there is often a gem at the end of it, like the classroom example, right? Like we get to the heart of what really matters to them. And that builds connection and trust like nothing else. So you have to have genuine curiosity. And you have to be looking for our shared humanity, no matter what you think of the person on the other side. Which means often giving them the benefit of the doubt. Looking for the positive intentions behind what might be assholey words that they're saying, right? Like they could sound like a total fucking bitch about the grocery delivery being late. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Look for their shared humanity. Be curious about why they're even saying, listen to me in this way. But at the same time, there has to be this degree of genuine detachment from the outcome. If I'm here and I'm trying to make you feel heard, help you feel heard, in order to make myself feel better, in order to prove that I am an empathic person, or that, or because I want you to open up to me and I want to build trust with you, people feel it. It comes through in how you act. It comes through in your tone of voice. It comes through in what you say. And it doesn't create a safe space for them to open up and feel heard. So you genuinely have to find the space inside of you where you're detached from the outcome. You're like, yeah, I am here. I'm going to do my best to make this person feel heard. I may or may not be successful at it. They may or may not choose to tell me about it. They have to want to tell me something in order for them to feel heard. And I have to earn that trust with them. And if I haven't earned it yet, it doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong. And it's not their job to make me feel good about being able to hear other people. So you have to have genuine detachment from the outcome of these conversations. You're just in it because you're curious. You also have to be willing to be wrong sometimes and make wrong guesses. I'll talk about this more in a minute too. And you have to not take it personally when they tell you that you're wrong or that the thing you guessed was wrong. And I'll get into this in a second, but there's going to be a few ways that there's like bait that you can take that will lead you down the wrong path, that is not the path to them feeling heard. So you have to be able to not take the bait. There's a few ways that you can make a heartfelt guess about how someone is feeling or what matters to them. So I'm going to stick to the grocery example. You could say, it could start with, are you? Are you upset? Are you pissed off? Are you frustrated? Because blah, blah, blah. Or you could say, you must be really annoyed about how late this is in order to be bringing it up like this. Is it because blah, blah, blah? You could say, Well, it sounds like you do not want any late deliveries in your future. Is it because blah, blah, blah? Another way is to say, I can only imagine it feels like. Maybe you're not that far enough down the road, but sometimes you are. You can say, I can only imagine it feels like they just don't care about you when they don't show up on time. I mean, a grocery person, it isn't expected, but maybe that's about somebody else not showing up on time. And you could say, I wonder if this is so upsetting to you because you really like this person and you were really looking forward to spending time with them, and now they're running late. I swished. I'm so tired. I shifted examples. Another way to make a guess would be, I don't know about you, but I'd be feeling pretty freaking annoyed if I brought my car into the brake shop, waited a long time, and when I left, it still wasn't working. And then they'll be like, yeah, I can't believe it. Or they'll be like, well, it's not so much that it's not working, it's that I haven't eaten, or I have a test I have to take, or whatever. They're going to confirm or deny, like confirm or correct you. And so when you say that, you can say, is that right? We're not making an assumption about how they feel. You don't want to be telling them how they feel. You are coming from a place of curiosity, making your best educated guess, and asking them if that's how they feel, and asking them to tell you if you're wrong. So you could say, is that right? Did I get that right? Is that what's going on? Am I understanding you correctly? What am I missing? Is there anything else? These are all questions that will help them open up, help and deepen the level, create and deepen their sense of feeling heard. It will take more than one guess, 90% of the time, 95% of the time. So in your mind, just know, be prepared. It might take 5 guesses in a row. That's what it takes. That's what it's going to cost you. 5 guesses, 4 of them are going to feel like they're wrong. And the last one is going to make it all worthwhile. So the way that I find it helpful to not take it personally when I get those first 4 no's, because sometimes the no's are kind of sharp and prickly and maybe rude. And they're like, well, no, I don't care about this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And you have to be able to be like, okay, it's not personal. The way that it helps me is I think about scratching someone's back, right? If you're like, hey, will you scratch my back? And I start scratching and you're like, higher. And then I go higher and you're like, down a little. And I go down a little and you're like, over to the left. And I go over to the left. And then you're like, over to the right. And I go over to the right. And then you're like, oh, yes, thank you. That's so good, right? They're giving you feedback, and every guess that you make, even if it's a wrong one, is helping you hone in on and get closer to that gem, that thing inside them that really matters to them. And that when you hear that, will build the connection and will bring a sense of relief and clarity. So when you get a no, when you get a correction, it's not personal. It's just how they help you find the right spot. Okay, so we talked about not taking the bait. Sometimes people will come back at you with data or numbers or objective facts. And there is no amount of parroting back an objective fact that is going to help someone feel heard. The only thing that will make someone feel heard is when they know that you understand what matters to them about that fact. So don't take the bait when they get real detailed or specific or intellectual. Look for the feelings behind it. Ask yourself what's important to them. Don't respond. You don't have to respond directly to the numbers. Just go to the heart of it. And they won't really mind that you didn't answer the intellectual part, because you will have just helped them connect to their feelings and their what matters to them in a way that nobody else probably has. So an example of this might be, like, let's say it was, this is kind of a weak example, but it's just what I got out of my head. Grocery delivery late, right? They could be like, yeah, did you know that statistically that there's over $5 million a year that is wasted in food that rots when it's sitting outside someone's door? I'm just obviously making that up. I'm like, who cares? I don't care about the number, but I do care about what matters to you about it. I don't usually say that, but that's the thought process in my head, right? So if they're telling you that, what matters to them? Waste, money, food, people starving. Like, there's something in that data that they are reciting that it matters to them. So go for that. Another way of taking the bait is when somebody asks you a question about your life, but is really because of something about theirs. So, well, one example might just be, they're like, well, how would you feel if the food got delivered late to your house? It doesn't matter how you would feel. Like, you probably wouldn't give a shit about it. You might not care. You might never even get your groceries delivered. You might have a lot of compassion for the person who's running late delivering them. Like, there's 100 ways that you could feel about it that are not actually relevant to helping them feel understood about how they feel. What is relevant in that moment, what matters to them? Why is the way that they're saying listen to me come across as, well, how would you feel? Maybe they want some companionship in this. Maybe they want to feel like they're not alone in caring about this. Maybe they want to feel like they're not neurotic and crazy because this matters to them, and they want to know that it matters to somebody else also. Maybe they want to feel like that you would just be able to understand how they feel effortlessly without them having to actually explain it. That's like 6 reasons I can rattle off on the top of my head off a made-up example about why that might matter to somebody. So there are always multiple possibilities like that behind everything that somebody says. And you don't have to be right when you're making the reflective guess back about what matters to them, but you just have to do your best to make one. And then they'll give you feedback and clarify. So another way of taking the bait, well, it's not, I guess it's taking the bait I'm thinking of as things that could like lead you off the path to hearing them, right? And so if you say, is it because you don't like being told what to do all day long? Maybe you're thinking about my son at school. And they're like, yes, and I'm tired of blah, 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 blah. The yes doesn't necessarily mean you're done, because it's a yes and. And so then you focus on the next thing that they're saying. So it was actually a yes. You did get that little part checked off. Good job. But they don't feel fully heard yet, because we haven't gotten, it's like kind of onion layers. We haven't gotten to the thing that really truly matters to them, right? So then you make the next guess about whatever the new thing is that they bring up, and you just stay on that trail of listening for what matters to them until you've said, is there anything else that I'm not understanding about what matters to you about this? And they're like, no, I don't think so. You did it. There's a couple different ways it ends, but that's one of them. Like I said, we're not here to tell people how they feel. We're here to be curious and ask them how they feel. Similarly, it is not up to you to decide when you've heard them or to say that you have heard them. This is something that really fucking pisses me off when I'm on the receiving end of it and someone is telling me that they have heard me when I don't feel heard. It doesn't mean that they don't actually understand. Maybe they do, and in the cases that I'm thinking of, I actually, in retrospect, think that maybe the person did understand me better than I thought they did. It doesn't matter how well they understand me if I don't feel it, or if I don't believe it, or if I don't trust it. So don't say, I heard you on that. Because if you're having to say that, they don't feel heard on it. And also you're probably feeling defensive or reactive, and maybe it's time to stop. Take some time to self-connect by that point. You don't get to make that decision. You don't get to tell them when they feel heard. They will tell or show you when they feel heard. You will feel it. They will feel it. There will be at least a momentary pause and relief when they're like, huh? Then they're going to go on to the next fucking thing because there's this deficit of feeling heard. And it could feel endless. Because once they find someone who can finally hear them about why their grocery delivery is late and not make them into a fucking bitch, but actually feel genuine understanding for what matters to them and that they don't want their kids to relive that childhood experience of embarrassment that they had, well, now they want to feel heard on other things also. So then it's up to you to track yourself and your boundaries and your capacity and to know whether you can hear more or whether you need to take a break. Because you also need to feel heard. And if you, maybe it's just by yourself, you need to be able to hear yourself first before you can hear them sometimes. But you're welcome to ask if they feel like you've understood what they're trying to say, right? And then they're going to say yes or no. Okay, I think this is all I have, mostly. I would love to hear back from you. How often do you feel truly heard by people in your life? And who is it? Some of us, in some circles, are very blessed to feel heard by our partners, by our friends, by our coworkers, by our clients. There are some of us living in this circle. There is almost nobody that I interact with in my life on a daily basis who can't sit with me and listen to what's on my heart and mind in the moment. But not everybody lives in that reality. Not everybody believes it's possible. Not everybody knows that it's possible, right? But I want you to know that it is possible for you to be surrounded by people who can hear you better. It's not going to happen overnight, but it will happen if you work towards it and are committed and invested in it. Also, I would love to hear what keeps you from hearing other people better or more often, besides your own hunger to feel heard. I mean, speaking of hunger, sometimes if I'm like if I haven't taken good care of myself and I'm hungry or I have this like gnawing hunger pang in my stomach, I can't, even if I try to hear people, it kind of comes across as hollow because they can tell that I'm not grounded in me. I'm not connected to my genuine curiosity. Maybe I'm just trying to fucking get through the conversation to go do what I want to do or need to do. For other people, like a lot of people, you might have a strong emotional reaction or a trigger to something that someone says, and that just knocks you off the track of trying to hear them and back into the track of wanting to be heard. So that's when it's time to do your personal growth work and look at what's there for that. Instead of making it about them, they gave you this gift of showing where you've got healing to do. I would also love to hear what's the most challenging part for you personally about trying to do this. And also, what was your biggest aha from listening to this today? I really hope that this brings you the sweetness and depth and connection and meaning and it's often fun that it does me. Like there's like these glimmers of it just might be a passing interaction about something at the store or as I'm picking up something on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. But when people feel heard, there's this sweetness. Then you can be playful. Then you can talk about other things. It's like we're best friends for a minute because I help them feel heard and I understand them better. It doesn't take me long to hear and understand people better than 95% of the people in their life ever have. But I don't want to be the only one. I can't be the only one. I'm not the only one, but there need to be more of us who are willing and able and open and committed to helping shift this dynamic where more people feel heard about more things, which helps them be able to hear more people about more things. It's the ripple effect. Okay, I gotta show you. There's a reason that I wear hats usually. Yeah, that's why I wear a hat. So just to keep it real with you. Needed to feel a little bit hurt about, how grateful I am that hats exist sometimes and let me get 42-minute videos recorded at the time I have available, even if I haven't done my hair or taken a shower yet today. Okay, let me know what you think. I would love to hear more about this. It's a topic near and dear to my heart that has really been life-changing for me, and I hope it is for you too. Okay, take care. Big hugs.